9 minutes after the hour of 12 noon. It is a Friday, May the 6th, 1988. And, of course, it's Lassiter with you until 4. Right here on the Talk of Tampa Bay, WFLA. All kinds of things let out of the bag this morning that I didn't know were going to be let out of the bag. But then what the hell, they're in the paper anyway. So, you win some, you lose some. Jeez. Tell you. Some people just, and Ask the General Manager show should have lots of screaming and bitching and moaning and shouting and I don't know. There just wasn't enough screaming. There wasn't enough passion. I mean, for example, okay, so that Norman's coming back. Okay, that's cool. That Webb's going back to sports from 6 to 8. What if, let's play some games here. What if they brought back Gonzalez? Oh. What if they brought back live talk at night? What if Lassiter moved to another time slot? Oh, what the hell? Let's talk radio. I mean, why not? Come on, let's really get down and dirty and in the gutter and sling mud. All the good old things. Let's talk radio today. I mean, general comments, bitches and moans, suggestions and critiques. Character assassinations, past, present, and future people. I mean, Levine, sure. Yeah, it's been a long time since we knocked Levine. Ellery, Fowler, Cole, Shanks, Eastman, Snow. Hardly. Network programming. Chucky, Bruce, Sally, Larry, anybody. I don't care. No one is immune. Utterly no one is immune. Hell, even Lassiter bashing. Of course, it's always welcome and actually even encouraged. We love Lassiter bashing here. Makes us very, very happy. Talk radio talk right here on the radio. I mean, wouldn't that be? I mean, really, no holds barred. You don't have to be polite. You don't have to hold back. Just lay it on the line. I mean, be as brutal as you want to be. Or, as complimentary. I don't care. It doesn't make much difference. 9909 pay. I mean, about the only thing in the paper today that could possibly be commented on are, any jerks that would go out and vote for Connie Mack after what he said about repealing the minimum wage. And I don't really feel like getting into that today. 9909352, down and dirty in the gutter, mudslinging this station, the other station, any station. Q105. I couldn't care less. Just let it all hang out. I mean, come on, it's a big part of your life. Let the passion flow.
Okay, wait.
352, LA, Dave and Oldsmar. Dave, you're on the air, WFLA.
How you doing, Mad Dog?
Fine.
Heard a rumor about you down south this week.
What's that?
And I thought you would take this as quite a compliment.
Uh-huh.
Neil mentioned maybe ABC in New York is pursuing you.
Well, Neil's full of crap, and he has been for a long time. Neil is not exactly playing with a full deck, and he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
Oh, come on, Bob.
What do you mean? What do you mean, come on, Bob?
Entertaining guy. Now, you shouldn't...
He's full of crap. I tell you, I can't stand Neil Rogers anymore. The man has thoroughly and totally disgusted me, and he doesn't know what in the hell he's talking about in this case.
Well, that's just thought I'd bring it to your attention is what was said.
Well, I know he's been saying it for months, and he doesn't know what in the hell he's talking about.
Well, Bob, I hope you're right and he's wrong in this case because I'd love you to stay in the area.
Thank you much, Dave.
Take care, Bob.
Be good. Night. Mary in St. Petersburg. Mary, you're on the air, WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Mary.
I hope, too, you stay around to at least you're 95, something like that. Listen, I hope they do have talk shows in the evening, and I wish they'd call Richard Shanks. I don't know if not he'd come in, but, gee, he'd be wonderful.
Richard Shanks would be wonderful.
Oh, he was wonderful. Listen, did you say that Ted Webb is going to be on 6 to 8 of sports?
Yep.
Oh, I hate sports. Well, anyway...
I think that's why they're doing it, Mary. If I'm not mistaken, they were sitting around the table yesterday and said, Mary, just, sports drives are bonkers. Let's play with Mary's head.
Well, he was talking about your wife, I'm sure. Well, I hope that they get some nice people in, plus the ones they have, because your new management seem wonderful. Nice people?
Why would we want nice people?
Well, because, I like controversy, and I like a lot of fights on the air, but, it makes for a very interesting talk show. But you have the best show I've ever heard.
Well, thank you, Mary. You're obviously a very, very intelligent woman and very astute when it comes to talk radio.
Right. Goodbye.
Bye-bye, Mary. It's Dorothy in St. Petersburg. Dorothy, you're on the air, WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Dorothy.
You've given us carte blanche to speak our minds?
Sure.
Well, okay. I didn't call Liz Richards' show to say anything there because she was the hostess, and I thoroughly disliked her.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's not too fond of you. She was speaking very unkindly of you this morning.
I can expect that. Well, she doesn't know me. I've never called her. But I do like you, and I like Ted. But, with underscored and quotes, where's David? He was my favorite. When he left PLP, I stopped listening at 9, especially with their programming that they have there now. And when he appeared on your place after you'd had him on your particular program, and then he came on later, well, 9 to 12 became my listening.
Well, yeah, the thing is, Dorothy, it was a decision that David Fowler made. It wasn't a decision that this station made, and it wasn't a decision that he made in conjunction with this station.
Well,
he just decided not to come back anymore.
Where is he? Can you tell
Sitting
me?
at home, I imagine.
Beg your pardon?
Sitting at home, I imagine.
Oh. Well, I hope that if they have a night slot, slot, maybe some programs, yes, but maybe he would reconsider and come back, because he really was the tops, in my opinion. And
well, the truth of the matter is, Dorothy, David pulled an unforgivable sin in this business. He just didn't come in, and that's unforgivable.
Well, I wondered about that Monday morning when they announced that it was Dave's show, and that he didn't come in. Well, I know David, I don't know him, but judging from him, I think he's a very sensitive person, and many, many things hurt him. And, of course, in your business, I realize that you shouldn't have to take things home with you. But I think he's very sensitive, and many things hit to the bone on him. But I think he was a wonderful, kind person, and he was the only one that can give me, quote, belly laughs. Occasionally I laugh at some of your jokes, but Dave...
Just kind of tee-hees at my stuff.
Beg your pardon?
Just kind of tee-hees at my material.
Beg your pardon?
Just kind of tee-hees at my material. Belly laughs for Fowler's stuff. Tee-hees, tee-hee, tee-hee.
Well, he's very sensible, too. The only thing is, if he would just bend a little and have a subject matter, he wouldn't have any trouble with his programming at all. But his mind is made up, and that's that. But I do hope, and I hope this gets to your new managing editor, not editor. You can tell I worked for a newspaper one time, new manager. I do hope that David will consider coming back, or if not there, some other station in the area where we could listen to him, because he is missed.
Thank you.
Only by me, I'm sure.
Thank you, Dorothy.
May I say one more thing?
What's that?
I can remember when you first came on the air from Miami, and you were very interesting from that time on. I always enjoyed you, Bob.
Well, thank you, Dorothy. Take care. 12:20 the time, 99. No holds barred talk, radio talk.
Yep.
Well, okay, bye. I mean, I don't mind bashing, but my God, at least make it creative. Alice in Tampa. Alice, you're on the air, WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Alice.
How long are you going to have that Liz Richards on there?
I have nothing to do with it, Alice. I have nothing to do with it, Alice. I don't blame me for anything, or don't give me credit for anything outside of what I do.
You know, I really miss listening to WFLA in the morning, but since she's been on there, she's so arrogant, and, I mean, she just tears people apart. She just tears men apart.
You should have heard what she said about you this morning.
Pardon?
You should have heard what she was saying about you this morning.
Oh, well, coming from her, I consider the source.
But you wore combat boots.
I have a good...
Smoked cigars.
I have a good suggestion for a replacement for her.
Mm-hmm.
How about Paul Gonzalez? We loved him. I wish he'd come back.
Bring back Paul. Bring back Paul. Okay.
With you and Ted Webb and Paul Gonzalez.
Oh, what a
have
trifecta,
a good lineup.
What a trifecta.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alice.
Love your show.
Take care.
Bye.
One last Tim, you're on the air, WFLA. Hi, Tim.
Tom.
Tom.
Bob, since we're bashing radio stations, this is a perfect opportunity for me to give you my opinion on the Q Zoo.
Q10 Jive.
What a Mung station that is.
Mung.
A Mung.
Mm-hmm.
It originally started out, in my opinion, way back when, with a talent, and that talent was Scott Shannon, and that talent is doing very well in New York now.
What's the matter? You don't like Toledo Weaver?
That is a pathetic excuse for entertainment. And Jacular Jockoff, whatever his name is equally as unimpressive.
Tackless Harris.
The fat hillbilly redneck they brought in between that I can't even remember his name was pathetic also. And since we're on that station, let me continue by saying this guy Mason Dixon makes me sick as well.
No.
I don't know who they think they're kidding and why they think they're so cute with this stuff. Maybe it's the market they appeal to, the 7 to 11-year-olds. I'm not sure.
Well, what's your biggest problem with them?
I don't know. I guess I can't find them on the dial. I don't know. Bob, I tell you, it's just a worthless station.
Worthless.
And I know a lot of people spend a lot of money to advertise on them. I'm sure they bite their tongue every time they have to negotiate with them or spend some money with them. I'm sure they get good results because they do really address a lot of people, and there are a lot of listeners out there. But for the life of me, I don't understand why. It's such an insult on your intelligence.
Well, okay, Tom.
Okay, Bob.
Thank you, Tom. Be good. One line available. Joan in Town and Country. Hi, Joan. You're on the air at WFLA.
Yeah, I like Liz.
Okay. She likes you. She said so this morning.
Yes, that's good. These wimpy housewives that don't have enough guts to get up and say what they feel, that's the reason why
Wimpy
I don't like
housewives.
them. Pardon?
Wimpy housewives.
Yes, okay.
Whoa.
All right, I think that's hitting it pretty right. I think Gil Whitten ought to be on from 9 to 12.
Gil Whitten.
Yes.
With
The
gardening
show
advice
on Sunday.
every day from 9 to 12.
Pardon?
Gardening advice every day from 9 to 12?
No, dear. On Sunday.
Oh, on Sunday.
Instead of 7 to 9, I'd like him on from 9 to 12.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you want to work in the garden, you know about the early bird and the worm and everything.
That's true, but I'd like to be able to sleep in a little bit on Sunday, too.
Well, okay.
All right. And I am real happy that we're going to have a sports show back.
We are?
Well, we're going to have Mr. Webb there.
Webb doesn't know squat about sports.
What do you mean he doesn't know squat?
Perhaps he's a very politically astute young man, but when it comes to sports, I mean, come on.
Hey, I like Ted Webb. Don't knock him now.
You know, Mike Levine knew more about sports than Webb.
Oh, no, he didn't.
He did,
Come
too.
On. You were already asleep by the time he was on when he had his evening show. You know that.
What do you mean by that?
I just figured you'd be all tired out after your show.
Webb doesn't know nothing about sports. Nothing. I mean, he's perhaps the most astute political commentator I've ever heard.
Could be.
But
yeah,
when it comes to sports...
But he's cute, too, so let's put it that way. Even though he's just married, he's still cute.
Cute?
He's cute.
Cute?
Sure.
Oh, grief.
Come on.
Grief.
Come on, give the guy his dues. Don't be like this.
Give him his dues. He's a short little guy.
I don't care. He's cute.
Well, you know, if you're into 4'9" man, I guess he is.
But he's the kind you want to pick up and put in your pocket.
Well, you could, too.
Pardon?
You could, too.
Sure.
Just a little miniature teddy there.
Come on now. Well, thank you anyway.
Okay, thank you. Well, what do you mean anyway? Ed in Tampa. Hi, Ed. You're on the air, WFLA.
Big Bob.
Yeah, Ed.
Yeah, listen, this is the first time I've called you, but I had to call because if you're going to have radio bashing day, after hearing what I just heard on the Rich Lizard show, it's time to bash WFLA a little bit.
Well, it seems to me that, by far and away I have the biggest numbers in the market, and it seems to me that Lizards is, at least as unpopular as I am.
Well, I don't know about that. I know that my taste has a long history of having jerks on the air.
A man of intellect and wit and intelligence and compassion.
True. That's true, and it was wasted on us. They topped that one. I didn't think anybody could top that, but they did. They brought in Jack Ellery. He was the biggest
Ellery,
tool.
Radio man.
Yeah, he was a radio jerk. He was the biggest tool in life. And then, Dick, the human Dick Norman, he can contort that into any
I've never seen his face. I keep looking at the socks, the red socks. Just have not been able to tear my eyes away from his feet and work my way up there.
He's an experience, but I don't think he would work on radio. And, the one time I saw Dick on some fundraiser on Channel 3, I could see why he wasn't on TV. I mean, the guy's ugly, and in addition to being a jerk, he's really ugly.
Well, he's Colonel Sanders look-alike, but beyond that, I don't know that I'd go any further.
Well, Colonel Sanders, though, has mellowed with age,
Yes, but Dick also comes with a quart of faked mashed potatoes.
Well, look, I'm glad that you're staying on. I think it's a real shame about Fowler. As you said, and the management people, I guess, said that he quit and that I think that's too bad. You haven't said this, but you've intimated that maybe there is more to it and that you can't say anything about it.
No, don't read anything into it. There's nothing more to it than that.
Really?
Right, he just didn't come in. He just stayed home one day.
Well, that's too bad because he was pretty good. I mean, he was like, if you're rock and roll, he was jazz. You know, he could go any way and flow with it pretty well. And you know, there's a need for both styles. But now with Norman, and then I don't know, Norman and then you, that seems like there's no rhythm to that at all. I don't understand where they're coming from with that.
Cincinnati.
Well, I don't know. To me, it doesn't make much sense, and I think it's really bad because on WTKN, you know, there's nothing to listen to there. Now there's nothing to listen to from 9 to noon.
Now we're begging.
You know, I've got to listen to music somewhere from 9 to noon now, or just tapes.
Okay, Ed.
All right. Well, listen, thanks for the time.
Hey, think nothing of it.
Have a good weekend.
You too, Ed. Bye-bye. One line of...
And it's really bad because...
Oh, you're on the air.
Yes, a couple of years ago, I got disgusted with the Burnout FM channel, and I've been listening to WFLA ever since.
For a couple of years? I mean, through Levine and Ellery?
Well, you know, I had
oh, man, you did get burned out.
You're the show I stumbled upon, and I've been listening to you ever since. And remember when WDAE was talk?
No, that was long before I got to this town.
They had a talk show guy named Stan Major.
Stan Major's, yeah, he's in Miami.
Well, he was a real good one. But
he's almost ready for TKN now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And, one more
2 less calls a week, and he'll be right up there ready for TKN.
Wow. My parents live up in Hudson, and every time I go up there and listen to you guys, it seems like when the sun goes down, you can't even pick your station up anymore.
Well, there's a good reason for that, because when the sun goes down, the power is decreased and the pattern is changed.
Wow.
AM radio signals travel further at night than they do in the daytime, and there are other channels in the country that share the same frequency, 970, as we do. And if we did not alter the pattern and the power, and if they did not alter their pattern and power, then the stations would overlap, and you wouldn't be able to hear anyway.
Well, because I think this market's growing so, fast, I really think your signal needs to be better coverage at night. And if there's some way you can figure out with the government or something, There's nothing that can be done. It's a matter of physics. Oh, okay.
It's a matter of physics, and therefore, unless all the other stations in the country on 970 want to sign off, and I doubt very much that they do, then, it's just a fact of life.
Okay. I think you got the best show in the market. I hope you keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. One line of bashing, trashing, bitching, moaning, general comments, suggestions, critiques, character assassinations, all acceptable, and, of course, Lassiter bashing as well. I love doing interviews, but I only like doing interviews with people who, first of all, are diametrically opposed to me. Secondly, that I can get in studio. And consequently, that makes it a little bit difficult. I personally cannot stand, from my own point of view, doing an interview with someone who is my soulmate. It's just, oh, guest, you're so smart. Well, thank you, host. You're even smarter because you agree with me. And I just can't really live with that.
Well, Ellen certainly wasn't that, was she?
No, not at all.
Well, I do enjoy your show, and I must say that I'm glad that you're going to be staying with this talk show.
In all probability.
And you give me much entertainment, a great deal to think about. Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
Sometimes you use the sentence, let's see if we can't, and then you would continue, like, look into this matter or change this. Doesn't that mean let's see if we cannot?
Of course. That's what can't means. Cannot. Contraction. I'm a high school dropout. What do you want?
But then you want it to mean that you're going to look into it as a positive, and then it comes out like as a negative. That's the only thing. And I hear that often. I hear that on the TV. I heard a commentator yesterday use that, and I just don't understand where that negative comes from when you want a positive response.
Just one of those things that has worked its way into our language.
Thank you very much, Robert. I enjoy your show, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Be good, Dina. 12.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Kevin.
I'm a little mad at Riz Richards.
Why's that?
She gave me the finger yesterday.
She did?
Yes. She was walking her pet down West Shore on a leash, and I thought I'd be nice. And I rolled down the window, and I said, hey, where'd you get that pig? And she said, that's not a pig, that's a dog. And I said, well, who in the hell do you think I'm talking to? And she gave me the finger. So I'm very happy that WFLA is going to be filling her slot with Big Dick. Can you give me the 6 words, Bob?
No, but I'll give you the finger. 9909 Danny, you're on the air, WFLA.
Hello, Bob.
Hi there.
Webb, cute? Webb? Lacey Webb was cute?
Well, most small things are considered to be cute.
Don't tell him I said that, please. But anyway, as I say, hooray for J-Corps. Hooray for bringing back the Sports Huddle with Ted. Bringing back Dick Norman. I want to echo that statement, that caller's statement also about Q105. I don't know who. Well, I guess this market will listen to.
I think they could have done better than Webb for the Sports Huddle myself.
I think with your baseball knowledge, I swear you have. But you know who knows more than both of you all? That's me. You know who won the World Series in '62?
Do you think I care?
You know who won in 77, 78? Beat the
Let me take a wild guess. Detroit.
No, the Yankees. You know who beat in 77, 78? Beat the Phillies? The Dodgers. Beat the Phillies.
Oh, well, Danny, you get today's prize. You know what today's prize is?
I don't.
It's a dial tone. Get off my phone, you Philadelphia hater. Ed in Tampa. Ed, you're on the air, WFLA.
Yeah, Bob. Must have been a red-letter week for Lassiter.
Why is that?
Well, Monday you were so up because of the new management, J-Corps coming in, and you were talking about how nice they were treating people and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday it was announced that Gordon Soley and Championship Wrestling's coming back. I mean, that's got to be a big event there.
Oh, it is.
And then
It is.
Cool Whip Fantasies and Pick on Liz yesterday, and Jacob calls in. That's
I tell you, it's been a hell of a week, hasn't it?
yeah. Why should we end it with a bashing of Lassiter? That's almost a negative. We ought to go in.
Oh, come on, everybody loves it.
No, I would rather see if you could take the slot from 2 to 6 before Webb's Sports Huddle thing comes on, and Norman take from 10 to 2, and we give Liz Richard from say 9:55 to 10. How's that?
I have nothing to do with any of these things. I have no responsibility one way or the other.
Well, I'm sure management's listening to you and not listening to some other station.
I fill 3 or 4 hours a day, and that's all I'm responsible for.
Can you fill the 2 to 6, or is that? I mean, that makes your day go too slow or something.
I'm not interested in 2 to 6. I'm not interested in 4 hours. 4 hours is a killer.
Oh, so you
an absolute killer.
Yeah. I was just thinking later in the afternoon, because in that way people could be listening to you on the drive home and really get worked up and stuck in traffic and then lay it out on you guys.
Well, I will probably be doing 3 to 6.
Well, we look forward to having you stay with the station, and I'm sure that you'll be a great preempt show for Ted Webb's little Sports Huddle. What's going to happen to the TalkNet at night with what's his name, Bruce Williams guy?
Nothing for the time being.
Oh.
There are rumors in the halls, and I hasten to point out they're nothing but rumors at this point of the game, that J-Corps would like to do talk around the clock, not only in the evening from 8 to midnight, but also from midnight to 5.
So no network-type feed, but do all local stuff, huh?
Exactly.
Fantastic. Well, I think if you move to that 3 to 6 slot or something, you'll really bash the hell out of Mason Dixon, and he needs it.
Okay.
Have a good weekend,
Jet
Robert.
and Mason. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
2 lines go to Greg in St. Petersburg. Hi there, Greg in St. Petersburg. You're on the air, WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
You invited us to call in and air our complaints here or whatever?
Whatever.
Okay. It's been a well-established fact here that you've been a draft dodger and that your
No, it hasn't.
It hasn't been established yet?
No.
You still deny that charge?
Well, as I've pointed out to other punks like you who try to make that charge,
I'm not saying you did. Hey, I ain't saying
it is a federal crime, and if you have information concerning a federal crime, then you should take it to the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
I have no information.
Okay.
I thought it was established through all the callers that made that statement. I thought it was also established that your daddy was a black man. But I just wanted to shed some new light here about the Freedom of Information Act allows people to go in find out certain financial backgrounds of certain people.
Actually, it doesn't, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Dad.
Well, what about your bankruptcy there?
What
Did that
about
have anything to do with the drug rehabilitation center you went to for a heroin addiction that
No, it didn't,
ran
Dad.
over $30,000 there?
No, it didn't, Dad.
Oh, it didn't?
No, it had to do with some very unpleasant automobile leases.
Oh, I thought it was a heroin addiction.
No, Dad.
Oh, all right.
Okay, Pop.
Bye.
Thanks for calling, Dad. I think they can get me. meant to do at the top of the show, and I forgot to do, so let me get it out of the way before I forget it again. It's no big deal, however. I really hate to admit when I'm wrong, but about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, for some bizarre reason, I don't know why, I got into a conversation with a caller, I think from Clearwater, I don't remember his name, concerning whether or not Pakistan bordered on Iran. They do share a very short border. I was wrong. Scott in Clearwater. Scott, you're on the air at WFLA.
Is there a chance Richard Shanks might be working at your station?
Not that I have any knowledge of.
Is there a chance that there could be a change in talk radio?
Oh, what do you mean by that, Scott?
Well, I mean, I don't want to be negative, but...
Oh, what do you mean you don't want to be negative? The original weasel in a dress? Come on, Scott.
Yeah, that hurts, doesn't it? Why don't you folks at WFLA pack up all your belongings, just clothes, and charter a bus, maybe Greyhound, and go on over to I guess it's TKN, something like that, and pick up all their employees and drop off the keys over to my place. And you folks bus on out to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and start sort of a co-op station. And, give the folks here a break.
Well, come on, Scott. What would you have to do? I mean, you'd have to start watching soap operas or something,
Well, no, see, because I'd hire Richard Shanks.
Oh, you would? What would you hire him for?
To be somebody who's alive and he can have guests on.
Would you like to be around people who are alive for a change, Scott?
That would be nice. I'd like to tune into a radio station where people are really real. Yeah.
And Richard is really real.
Yeah, he's really, he knows what he's doing. And he's interesting, and he has interesting people on.
It's too bad that hardly anybody else thought that.
Well, actually, I guess it's their management down there, the people who took over.
No, it has a great deal had to do with his ratings.
Well, I guess he was up against you, and...
That's right.
But I still think he's one of the best.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
But I don't have any guitar music here, but I just wanted to say I hope you folks would have Richard on.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Take care there, Scotty. First hour. Pathetic. Gag me with a spoon or something. Oh, man, I give you the guys the opportunity to rip and trash and bash, and it's, it's nice. I don't like him, but, it's just my opinion. Pathetic. And the Lassiter bashing, that was the worst of all. Talk about pathetic. Here are these new guys in town. What do? They turn on the monitor in the building, and they hear, "Oh, Bob, we love you so much. You're so good. You're so great. You make me think, Bob." Oh, come on. And here I am in the middle of negotiating a new contract and everything. Come on. The Lassiter haters out there, we're down to just a couple of days now, man. Just a couple of days to rip and trash. I heard one dude, as I was driving in this morning, call up, when Lizards was on and say, well, and that Lassiter, well, you'll find out about him. Oh, give me a break. Oh, where are the Lassiter bashers? Horrible, horrible. Let's see, if it doesn't pick up, if we don't get some real passion in here, if we don't get some real hate, some real mudslinging, I'm going to have to go on to something else. I'm not going to put up with this stuff. Fred's in Safety Harbor. Fred, you're on the air at WFLA.
Afternoon.
Hi, Fred.
Oh, Lord have mercy. You really want to do this, Robert?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. They ought to get rid of Liz.
Get rid of Liz, okay,
Definitely get rid of Liz. Here's the reason why. That is a sexist female. That is, she didn't want to go to work or go to lunch with the boss today without wearing a chastity belt. Yeah. What happened?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, gosh, we got to do this right. Okay. Now, you're great. It took me a long time to get accustomed to you, guy. But I'm going to bash you. I'll tell you why. You really don't allow the people enough time to voice their opinion before you tell them to get off the phone, you jerk.
I don't know that I totally agree with that, Fred. Dave in Land O'Lakes. Hi, Dave. You're on the air at WFLA.
Bob.
Yeah.
Okay. First, trashing NBC.
You're a National Leaguer, right?
No, actually, I don't play ball anymore.
Phillies fan.
Well, yeah, Phillies fan, right.
Okay, NBC at night, they have this Ann Taylor woman on the air.
Uh-huh.
They don't give the NL scores, which I happen to be a Reds fan. That's no big deal. Okay, late one night last week, I was sleeping. I woke up and I heard, believe it or not, WCKY from Cincinnati on my radio. And I heard this promo for a guy on the 2 to 6 shift named Stormin' Norman. Gosh, who could that be? But it's amazing in Cincinnati, he's Stormin' Norman, and in Tampa, he's the big dick.
What could I possibly say? I'm speechless.
I think I've said it all. And one last thought, Bob.
Yeah.
Trees are trees to us, but birds call them home.
Okay, Dave. See, this is pathetic, man. I mean, there just isn't. It's just not there. 9-9. The first day I came into this town, I said, you know what? I just can't really put my finger on it, but if I'm forced to, it's a lack of negativity. It's a lack of negativity. Off we go to Lulu in Temple Terrace. Hi, Lulu. You're on the air, WFLA.
Hey, it's Lulu from Temple Terrace. I'm calling to talk about all these men that just can't take it from Liz Richards. They call you up and they whine and whine about what Liz did to them, and your denunciations of your listeners aren't it's much more vehement than Liz's, but these men just can't take it. They're wimps.
They do sound kind of wimpy to me, too, Lulu.
Let them call Liz. Let them go a few rounds with her.
Of course, there are also a few women that wear the pants in the house, I guess, that they live in that are calling up and complaining, too.
Well, that could be, but these men just seem like, they can't handle a woman telling them to get off the line.
I mean, most of the women complaining sound a little butch to me.
Well, whatever.
Whatever, right.
That's my bash for WFLA for the day.
Okay, Lulu.
Bye.
Bashing the audience. All right. 9-9, Cindy in Tampa. Hi, Cindy. You're on the air at WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Hi. I used to hate you when you first came on, but
thank you,
I've got
Cindy.
used to you now. Now, you know who I can't stand is that, I think it's Sam McClellan.
Oh, Sam,
Every time he gets on
get
there
rid
talking
of
about
Sam.
we're on a mission from God. God, I can't stand that guy. I always turn it off when I hear him. Liz Richards, she's a lot better on the radio than she was on TV. So
much better than Sam, too.
Much better than Sam?
Oh, much better.
I'm glad you agree with me.
Oh, I definitely do.
You probably shouldn't do that.
Almost as good as Webb, but much better than Sam.
Okay, thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Cindy.
Bye.
9-9 Alice. Joe in Tampa. Hi, Joe. You're on the air at WFLA. Joe crapped out. Let's go to Ann in Palm Harbor. Ann, you're on the air at WFLA.
To the man that asked for people to call in about Dick Norman coming back.
Uh-huh.
Well, I just called the office, and they said he was going to be doing talk, because I'd called all my friends and told them.
Well,
and then when I heard
I beg your pardon. Who are you going to believe, me or the receptionist?
I'm going to believe Jim Flack.
Jim Flack?
Yeah. Well, he is going to be doing talk.
Jim Flack was given his notice this morning, man.
Well, I say he is going to be doing talk, isn't he?
Jim Flack was given his notice this morning.
Right.
He is
Okay,
bitter
I
and
don't
lying
care.
through his teeth.
I say I don't care if he is.
Oh, you don't care about poor Jim Flack being out in the gutter?
That's right.
He
I
has
don't.
9 children, ma'am. 9
I do care
children.
about Dick
And he has
Norman,
been
though.
thrown out of work for no good reason whatsoever than a personality conflict with the president of the company.
Well,
that's the kind of company J-Corps is, man. Take a man with 9 kids and throw him into the gutter. The poor man only earns $186 a week to start with, and just because he didn't go, oh, here's the new savior, they threw him out, man. He's lying to you about Norman. He's bitter, and I don't blame him for being bitter. I'd be bitter too, lady.
Yeah? Yeah? Well, is Dick Norman coming back to talk, or isn't he?
No.
Oh, boo-hoo.
He's been hired to replace Flack, who was fired this morning. Bert in Clearwater. Bert, you're on the air at WFLA.
Bob, how you doing?
Fine, Bert.
Good. Let's do some bashing here. Liz Richards. Oh, my God. Does she take Linda Ellaby pills? I would like to know. She must face New York and bow every morning to Linda Ellaby. I swear. The only one that makes her look even halfway decent is this guy Sam McClellan. I mean, come on. He ought to head back to his home shopping and Saving Sam and save us the pain of listening to him. What a jerk. Oh, yeah, God's got a plan.
Oh, I like this passion. There's passion in this call. There's passion. You're not from this area, are you?
I was born here, Bob.
Really? Oh, that's astonishing.
I was born in Clearwater.
Oh, my God, there is hope yet. Go for it, Bert. Come on, man. Go.
I'm telling you.
Oh.
I liked Fowler when he was here. I can live with him. I can live without it.
Oh, I'm getting goosebumps now.
All right. If Dick is coming back to talk, fine. If he's not, then fine. Get somebody in there, okay? But not Liz. And not Sam. Someone of some decent quality.
How about Fred Mertz?
I don't think so.
Okay. How about, let me see, who else? John Christ.
Who?
That's what a lot of people say when you mention that name.
Well, I guess there's your answer there, Bob. I tell you, but...
Guess we're stuck with the Dick.
Oh, God. Dick is better than anybody. You know?
Better than anybody. I mean, come on, that's pushing, man.
Hey, a little Dick is better than a lot of Liz. And any minute sampling of Sam McClellan. I mean, have you ever listened to Sam McClellan?
Have I ever listened to Sam McClellan? Are you serious? Are you serious?
He filled in for Ted Webb one day.
No.
And I was like putrid. I was sick. I was throwing up. I couldn't. He said, God has a plan for this country, and I was headed for the porcelain toilet. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're kidding me. He said that on the air?
He said, God has a plan for this country. He said, this is God's country.
And then they took him off and put McClellan on?
Well, excuse me?
And you said then they took him off and put McClellan on?
No, McClellan was the one that said that.
McClellan said that?
Yes.
I thought he did sports.
McClellan? Come on! He was saving Sam over at Home Shopping Network.
What? You mean he used to have his own religious show?
He sold the goods at Home Shopping, and he ain't selling his goods here. Look, Bob, let me put it to you this way.
Yeah.
I like you. I know you hate to hear it, but I like to hear your show. Sometimes you get me so
It cost me $2,000.
you know, I want to throw you against the wall.
Oh, good.
But I realize that it's physically impossible. But I realize that, you know, you do think somewhat. And you don't think that God has a plan for this country, and that's on your side. But Ted Webb, yeah, I like him. He's a little mundane, kind of reminds me of what Sophie would be like. But
well, no matter what you say about Webb, you have to put a little in front of it.
What's that?
No matter what you say about Webb, you have to put a little in front of it.
Why is that, Bob?
Because he's a little.
He's little?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Miniature. Just a little guy.
You mean SMAA small?
Yeah.
He's small?
Right.
I've never seen him.
You probably have. You just didn't realize it. Just looked right over his head.
Over him there or on him, one of the two. But I'd say, all right, leave Webb. He's getting a sports huddle. Fine. That's what I knew him as, sports huddle.
Except he doesn't know a damn thing about sports.
Well, at least he made it entertaining.
I mean, why can't we get a guy like Nancy Donnellan over here to do sports?
Who?
A guy like Nancy Donnellan.
Don't know the name.
Oh. Oh, it's okay. Most people don't.
I mean, now tell me, I think I know what happened. When they decided on Sam McClellan and Liz Richards, they called Nancy and asked her for the stars, right?
Well, actually they did, yeah.
I think they called up and said, well, Nancy, listen, you worked out the INF wonderfully. I think we need to know who's going to be big. And I think she said Sam McClellan and Liz Richards. Oh, God, it makes me sick to say those two names in the same second. Bob.
Yeah.
Bob,
yeah.
What are we going to do? I mean, what do we do with this?
Replace them with Norman.
Well, do you think that's any better?
There aren't any easy choices in life, Bert.
I'll live with Dick Norman. I don't mind listening to him so much.
Wait a second. You live with Dick Norman?
No,
are you implying that Dick is a little, you know?
No. It's a platonic airwaves relationship, Bob.
Yeah, sure.
Bob?
Yeah.
Bob?
Yeah.
I can live with Dick Norman being on the air. Was that phrase better for you?
But you can't live with him when he's not on the air. You mean he's impossible around the house when he's not on the air?
Bob.
He kind of stomps his feet and...
Bob.
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah.
The conversation's been enjoyable up to this point.
Yeah.
Right now, before I get a little too heated, I think I'll say goodbye.
To fan yourself now.
Excuse me?
Fan yourself. Cool down there.
Okay.
Thank you, Bert.
I'm cooling down.
Be
Goodbye.
good. One line open and up to you. Oh, let's see. This audience just doesn't know how to bash and trash. True.
You subhuman pig. You're jealous of him, aren't you? Admit it. You know that all the women call up just to talk to him on your show, and they
He gets more calls than I do, too.
I know he does.
He gets a lot more calls than I do.
And you're wrong, too. He doesn't have 8 kids, kiddo. He's got more than that. He's got 9.
9?
Yes. And another one on the way.
And another one on the way.
People don't call to speak to you. They call to speak
The numbers,
to you.
Robert.
You know what's going to happen?
The life.
You know what's going to happen when he goes? You aren't going to have anything. No one's ever going to call you again.
Yes, they will.
Well,
Yes,
if they do,
will.
it's because they're begging whomever answers the phone to please bring back Jim, the only reason why
I've got a new board op that I'm going to bring in.
Oh, right.
Paul Sliwa.
Oh, really?
That's his name. I'm bringing Paul Sliwa in.
And is he related to Curtis?
No, he's not.
Uh-huh.
No. It's just a coincidence.
Well, I'm so infuriated. I can't even...
Hey, Robin, it's a fact of life.
It's not. You want to talk about facts of life here, boy?
I am the star, Robin. I can get rid of any... Would you like to see me get rid of somebody? Just name anybody else here at the station and see if they're here tomorrow.
How about Jack Ellery?
Gone.
How did you do that?
I just said it.
Well, what about David Fowler?
Gone.
What about Liz Richards?
Robin, I'm not going to be pushed around this way. I've already gotten rid of 2 people for you.
Well,
what do you think? I dance at the end of a string? You think I'm a puppet?
Well, that's not what I've heard, but I did hear that you do dance.
We won't discuss that. Just to be mean, I'm going to keep lizards.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, just to be mean.
Me, huh?
Just to taunt you, Robin.
Well, what about Uncle Dickie?
But Slack is gone.
Oh, okay.
He's gone.
Yeah. So you're getting rid of him for sure. There's nothing I can do to persuade you.
Nothing.
Yeah, what about if I show the pictures of you dancing at Ted's wedding? How about if I circulate those pictures, bub?
I have to break for a news brief, Robin. It's been nice talking to you. I thank you very much for your call. There's one line. Who in the hell told about pictures? Flack? I'll see if I can't really get rid of you. To Charlie, off we go to Bob in Safety Harbor. Hi there, Bob. You're on the air at WFLA.
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
Fine.
Good. Hey, you're getting to smell better all the time.
Thanks.
Golly. Must have the windows open down there.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Maybe you ought to get rid of that frigid lizard there and put in the rabbi, You know that rabbi, what's his name, from the other place?
Yeah, Rabbi, what's his name, yeah.
Rabbi Bresky. That would be a good, 3 hours.
Oh, you want Bresky, too?
Huh?
You want Bresky, too?
Oh, sure.
Oh.
Why not?
2-man rabbi show.
Yeah, 2-man rabbi show.
Rabbi, what's his name? Rabbi Bresky.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we ought to get together and just boycott the station for you people being such lowlifes down here, getting rid of Fritz,
Getting rid of who?
Your producer there?
Oh.
I heard something in
Frisk,
the wind.
Jim Frisk, yeah, we got rid of him.
Frisk, yeah. If we boycott you, you don't have any callers, You'd be kind of sitting there twiddling your thumbs.
Yep.
Squeezing your tasty cakes.
Or something, yeah.
Or something, well, yeah, So anyway, I just, I had to get my 2 cents in there, like everybody else.
Oh, okay.
You have a good afternoon. Enjoy yourself.
Take care, Robert.
Hey, I wanted to know, whatever happened to your show here, Bob? We, in the beginning, a couple months back, you were pretty rude and everything, and I was wondering what happened.
Well, I stopped being rude.
And why is that?
Well, it's not a good way to be, Steve.
I mean, was there a lot of complaints, or, didn't that kind of get your show going?
Well, I just felt it wasn't nice to be rude anymore.
Well...
Is that playing with a full deck or something?
What's that?
Nothing. Go ahead, Steve.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Steve.
So, let me ask you, what makes you go so low as to, have shows about people that, asking people about horoscopes and stuff like that, ice cream, and what makes you get to such a low thing like that?
I've just lost it, Steve. I don't have it anymore.
I remember one time you saying on the air that that your listening audience was, so bad that that's what they would relate to, and you actually did something like that, and you got a great response.
Yes, I did.
So look, you want to come over for a barbecue?
Nah.
Why not?
That would be the polite thing to do.
What, not to come?
Right.
Well, you get off at 4.
That's true.
Well, can I say hi to John and Dorsey, or what?
Sure.
Hi, John and Dorsey. So what are we supposed to be bitching about today, Bob?
Nothing, Steve. Nothing at all. Off we go to Sam, somewhere in or on West Shore. Sam, you're on the air at WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Yes, Sam.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, sir.
I got a little positive and a little negative to lay on you this evening.
A little positive, a little negative, okay?
Right. I think, Liz the Wiz is just too much woman for these mediocre males around here.
Could well be.
And she sounds like a very interesting lady to me.
She is.
But there's one thing she said yesterday, and I don't know if it was my Walkman had a bad connection in it or what it was, but as I understood her, she was talking about the machoism and the pilots and all that bull, and about what would happen if the females started flying fighter planes, etc.
Mm-hmm. Hot topic.
And she said something about that she'd rather work in a whorehouse than cook or something like that. About frying and baking, she'd rather work in a whorehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a pretty interesting thing. I just wonder if she said that in what context she said it.
Well, I thought you said you heard it.
Well, I heard it, but I don't know whether I heard it correctly or whether my radio skipped a beat or what the hell's going on there.
Well, I wasn't listening, so I can't really comment one way or the other.
Well, if any other listeners that heard anything like that, I wish they'd kind of clarify it.
Okay.
Now, on this other subject of Dick Norman coming back, I think that's good. Well, you take an eagle. If an eagle had one big right wing and no left wing, it would fly in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, WFLA wants to go in a straight line, so they got the big right wing now. Dick Norman's coming back.
Oh, everybody over here is straight now.
And the big left wing, who I'm talking to there now, with the vector of those forces, it'll be high soaring.
We used to have some people here who weren't straight, but everybody's straight now.
Yeah, they'll get straight. Okay, good talking to you, and keep up the good work.
Okay, Sam, one line.
Hey, from 12 to 4, I think you're making a bad move.
It's me who wants to move to 3 to 6.
It's you that wants to move from 3 to 6?
Yes.
You must like getting stuck on the bridge, huh? You enjoy that?
I won't get stuck on the bridge.
Oh, yes, you will.
No, I
Oh,
won't.
yeah, you're going to be out there with everybody else.
I don't use the Franklin at night.
No?
No.
You must go over to Gandy.
Right.
Oh, good
I go
move.
home via the Gandy. I come in via the Franklin. I don't like to be a creature of habit.
I hear you.
Except on Wednesday nights
You really want to do something different. You want to try going all the way around and go over to Courtney Campbell. Now, there is a big problem.
I'm not stupid, Chair.
Okay, Bob.
If I lived in Clearwater, I think I'd still use the Gandy.
I hear you. All right, I just wanted to get that in.
Take care, Chair.
All right, bye-bye.
One Bill in Newport Richie. Hi there, Bill. You're on the air at WFLA.
Good afternoon, Bob.
Afternoon, Bill.
Bob, all I've heard is everybody not for Liz today. Hey, let me ask you something. I'd like to see one of these days is you and Liz do an hour together of point and counterpoint. Serious. Just an hour of it, just to see what goes on. Then the other thing I wanted to say about Dick coming back. God, will you ask Mansion, please keep him off local issues. It's boring up here in Port Richey to hear about the recall and the price of water and St. Pete. If he just stays off that. Then the other thing I wanted to mention.
Well, I understand he was going to open up with a week-long series on an expose of Newport Richey politics.
Oh, God, that's even worse, Bob. That's even worse. Bob, the other thing I want to talk about, you said you're knocking any television station or...
Oh, anything. I knock anything.
Okay, I'd like to knock Channel 13 with Roy Leap and the weather.
Roy Leap, yeah.
Now that Roy Leap's got this new improved radar system, now he shows us the weather in Europe. I mean, come on, Bob. I couldn't care less about the weather in Europe today. And it's just every day he picks a different spot and he goes on and on. It's just too long for a weatherman to be on. Then the other bitch I have is the other radio station.
The other radio station?
Yes, the one that you left. At night on Saturday, they're really desperate over there. They've got desperate and dateless, that is. Bob, listen to this. I heard a program.
They've done 3 calls in 4 weeks. One of the calls was one of the host's wives.
Listen to how desperate they were. They had a woman 56 call in after about an hour on the air. Then after another hour on the air, they had some guy 23 call in. They were actually trying to mate these two together. I mean, now you're totally disgusted with the program. Now after that comes on Dr. Shakan?
Right, Dr. Shakan.
Or whatever her name is. Anyways, she can't get a call. It's 4 hours of just dead radio. They can't find a call.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything about this, Bill, but since you have stumbled upon one of the great treasures of the Tampa Bay area, there is a program on whatever it is over there on Saturday nights. It is absolute death. You have never in your entire life heard anything so tragic. They have stolen, of course, the name Desperate and Dateless because they thought it would, they thought it would distress the management over here if they stole the name.
And on top of it, it's 2 men hosting it.
2 men hosting it, Gordon Bird and Ed Hardley. And they sit there and beg and plead, and they, honest to God, I swear to you, say things like, well, you better call now before the show gets real popular later on. I listened one Saturday night. They had one poor, it might have been the same night that you listened. They had one poor woman on. She didn't call until an hour and 30 minutes into the show. They then kept her for the remainder of the show. They got one poor slob to call in. I guess it couldn't have been the same night because it was an older man.
I heard it. He finally hung up.
Exactly. They went to a commercial break, and he just hung up. And when they came back, he wasn't there.
In fact, she was from Newport Richie, and he said it was too damn far.
I mean, if you want to talk about tragedy on the air, I mean tragedy on the air. You're not supposed to, in this business, you're not supposed to help your competition. But hell, I mean, for all of you out there who really like horrible disasters in the making, if you like to hear sweat dropping from the forehead onto the console, just going plop, plop, plop. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. I can't get away from that. And I highly, highly recommend the show. It is tragic.
It's funny. I mean, you can't believe it. It's got to be the worst radio. If you had to make a tape of the worst radio ever done, it's got to rank in the top 10.
It is awful, just absolutely incredibly awful. And the first call that they got was Ed Hardley's wife trying to prime the pump. That's how desperate they are and how low they will sink to put a married woman married to the host on the air and pretend otherwise.
Hey, one more thing I wanted to mention real quick. I just heard on your newscast about E.F. Hutton and the government washing money for the mafia. I guess when they said, when E.F. Hutton talks, you listen, they meant it, huh?
No, it must be. Thank you, Bill.
Okay, bye-bye.
Be good.
They're off because we took over their land, how much better they have it because of the culture we brought them.
Well, Sam is a very amusing guy. You see, you guys take what Sam says seriously.
Well,
Sam is one of the great put-on artists of all time. Sam is one of the most liberal men I have ever known. And Sam just gets a large charge out of coming in for 3 hours every Sunday from 9 until noon and just putting on the entire audience.
I don't know why you're surprised that there hasn't been so much Lassiter bashing. Christ, you throw us Lizard and Sammy, and you've got it easy. You come out smelling like a rose.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it's just not like it used to be.
We shouldn't have What's Your Gripe? We should have Torture Bob. You want a real interesting afternoon? You could have people call up and think of different ways to torture Bob. I just thought of one or two.
Yeah.
I'd tie you down in your squeaky chair, and I would dangle.
My chair doesn't squeak anymore, thanks to the good folks over there at Homeowners Equity.
Tie you down in any chair.
Homeowners Warranty.
Tie you down in any chair, and I would dangle fresh, tasty cakes and cold milk in front of you, just out of your reach.
Oh, man, you're sick.
And then I would dangle your cigarettes.
Oh, you're really sick.
Unlit cigarettes in front of you, Bobby.
Oh, sick, man.
When do you get real testy? About 5-10 minutes without a cigarette?
Oh, God, I've never gone that long.
When do you really start to lose it?
I don't know.
How about we have an FSU scavenger hunt with the number one item, your pack of your cigarettes?
Oh, man, you're just a cruel, vicious person.
Well, let's get it rolling. The Torture to Bob contest, and then maybe the winner can get a pair of your socks or maybe a pen. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, something. Yeah, we'll think of something.
All right, buddy. Have a nice weekend.
Be good, bud.
At this point in your career, you deserve your own personalized production number. I heard a couple of weeks ago you mentioned to someone that the production number you had you really liked because it was exactly 50 seconds long and you enjoyed the tune.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of music. I have a home recording studio, and I've written a piece that is exactly 50 1/2 seconds long.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I tried to get it as close as I could. It is as good, and I think, and you may, even better than what you've got there.
Okay. This is incredible because just the day before yesterday, I also got it's about 7 or 8 minutes long. So months anyway with Irma.
Well, he sounds like he's got lots of stamina and all that.
I mean, one of the things that you have to give up when you do a talk show is sex, because if you engage in sex and try to do a talk show, it's kind of like, me that I don't think he'd be able to resist, at least for the first several months anyway, Irma.
Yeah. Well, that's always possible, but I don't know. He just
certainly never at a loss for words.
Surprise you though, Bob. They may seem quiet and all that on the inside as far as their ability to do things go, but he might have the energy after all. You never know.
Or maybe Betsy from Largo, could bring in her guitar and take requests and do sing-alongs.
Well, anybody from Largo's got to be good.
Although I understand that the PLP is thinking about hiring her to do that in the afternoons.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Oh, it's better than what they are doing.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Bob. I still think you ought to think about Jacob, though. See what your listeners have to say.
Sure, I always listen to my listeners.
Okay, take care.
Thanks, Elton. Bye-bye.
He's the only guy I know that can pray and get 100. Look down and see 100 voice of I don't know, dead fish, I guess.
Yeah, now that you mentioned it, I think if dead fish did have voices, that's what they'd sound like.
I suppose so. I can imagine what he looks like.
Hello, landlubbers. yeah, I think it fits, man.
Yeah, puckering his own face up.
Right, I can see the the mouth of the fish moving, and yeah, I think he really hit it on the head.
There you go. And now I've got to take a stand here about Liz Richards. I think she's good. I think Liz Richards is a good talk show host.
Well, now, just.
I like her ideas, her opinions.
Well, hold on here a second, GK, because there's another dude that says you're just all wet about Norman. John in Tampa?
Yeah.
You want to straighten out GK?
Who is this GK? I sound like a faggot name to begin with. You jerk. If you don't like Mr. Norman, get the hell off the phone, turn the thing off. You got a knob, that's what it's made for.
And that's exactly what I do. I think he's sick. And I think you're a jerk, too.
Now get off the phone.
Get off the phone yourself, you jerk.
Oh, God.
Well, mercy, shades of Paul Gonzalez. I'm sorry about that, GK. I thought he was going to be polite.
Man, he's polite, all right.
Whoa. So anyway, as you were saying.
Yeah, getting back to Liz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's pretty good.
Good. Think she should be there in place of Norman?
Yeah, I think she should.
Okay, maybe Liz and Sam together.
Liz and Sam?
Yeah, kind of a boy-girl show.
Nah, I don't like Sam.
You don't like Sam?
No, I don't like his. Isn't he the guy that was on the radio preaching about all that stuff?
Yeah, but it's all
God and all this.
It's all a put-on, man. He doesn't believe any of it. He just does this to get people upset.
No, I don't think so.
Oh no, I'm serious. I couldn't say it if it wasn't true.
I know better than that.
Oh, do you think I could say that if it wasn't true?
Well, of course you could.
Oh, well, yeah, I could.
You could have tried.
Nah, Sam's a real nice guy. He works down. He helps Sister Margaret out down there at the Helping Hand mission, and he passes out leftist literature at lunchtime in downtown Tampa.
What's he do for a full-time job?
Prince leftist literature. God, I can't say that. There we go. Let's try it again. He prints leftist literature for a living.
Well, but I still can't stand that voice.
Oh, I know what you mean. It's like taking your fingers and running them along a blackboard.
Remember when that guy gave you the question? There was, I don't know, about 3-4 months back. He called up and gave you a couple names, and all you had to answer was negative or positive. And he said Dick Norman. You said definitely negative.
Yeah, definitely negative.
Remember that?
Definitely.
Yep. So I don't know. Well, anyways, sounds like this new management's going to really turn your radio station around, or going to make an attempt and
probably not. They're probably just a bunch of blowhards like all of them are.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're just, it's the same old stuff. They all come in and say great things in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
they really are. They have some really good ideas. And I think that you're going to find over the next couple of weeks and the next several months some subtle but very important changes in the overall approach, everything from news down to commercials.
You guys I've heard people bashing your news department from 5 to 9. I tell you what, I listen to you. I have FLA on all the time, and as far as news, you guys got the best news department. At least as far as I'm concerned, you get me to listen all the time.
It's a phenomenal news department, in all honesty and all sincerity,
really is.
And it's going to get bigger and it's going to get better still.
Yep.
But there's one thing in this in this industry that is not generally accepted. It's, I'm giving you now personal opinion, but it's something I'm virtually convinced of. The talk audience and the news audience are two different audiences.
Yeah.
And so consequently, an awful lot of people who would listen to news wouldn't consider listening to the talk, and the people who are listening to talk aren't interested in the news.
Yes, I just leave the radio. I'm sold on your radio station. I think it's fantastic. I really do.
Well, it's going to get a lot better still.
Man,
and that's a
sounds
promise.
good, Bob.
Okay, I've been waiting for this program because I got some talk radio bashing to do.
Oh, okay, lay it on us.
Can we get into personalities?
Can we
talk?
Can we get into personalities? We can talk,
All right,
Jim.
let's go.
All right.
John Eastman.
Oh, gag me with a shoe.
We're talking, Bob, the man is 105 years old.
Only in his mind.
The first thing he does is put his teeth in a glass in the morning. You can hear it.
No, he puts a glass in his teeth.
Okay.
Yeah.
The man's a walking dictionary. His sole purpose is to use as many words as the audience has never heard of. Last week, Lionel called in, ask Eastman 5 times. What does that mean?
Wait a second. Wait, do you mean Lionel called Eastman? Are you serious?
Well, that's when Liz was on, and can you imagine Lionel and Liz? Okay, but I can solve one problem for FLA.
Yeah.
You've got a certain amount of public programming you got to fill, right? Put Eastman on from 9 to midnight, and it'll save all the insomniacs.
Well, we like to get calls here.
Well,
we spend all this money on phone equipment and phone lines, and the only way we can justify it is if they're used. Now, there are other companies that have talk stations that also spend a lot of money for phone lines and for phone equipment, and they don't really seem to care if it gets used.
Okay, well, he put Sominex out of business anyway. Shanks, Richard Shanks, huh? His sole highlight every day is to work into the conversation how he dropped his drawers and made the national news.
Are you serious? I've never heard him mention that.
Oh, yeah. No matter, they could be talking about houseplants. Somehow he would bring in that particular topic. Did you see that show, Bob? Did you see Bad Buns?
So this guy Lionel, what were you saying about him again?
Lionel?
Yeah. You don't like Lionel?
Well, I think, he's similar to the dictionary. I think he just sits, he and Eastman both.
Little ponderous, boring, and filled with a lot of words that you don't need, huh?
Yeah, basically.
Lionel, what do you have to say about that?
Well, if I'm the dictionary, then you're C. Jane Run, okay? Because all you've done so far here today is to show everybody what little you know about whatever you're talking about.
Well, now, I resemble that, Lionel.
That's cute. Norm Crosby incarnate. King of the malaprop.
What were you doing calling Eastman, Lionel?
He's a splendid and a very warm guy, Bob.
Yes, he is, but he's boring on the radio.
He is... Bob, sometimes I think you're boring, too. The tirades.
I beg.
The tirades and everything have got to go. The unemployment thing, and, it's too much like Geraldo. Eastman is the Dilaudid of talk radio.
Fantastic interviewer, but he never gets any calls, Lionel. Have you ever had him?
Spanish words again.
He schedules a 20-minute interview.
The problem is you cannot equate the number of calls one gets with how popular the show is. And you know this, Bobby. You have some shows. I mean, for crying out loud, the old what was that guy's name, Mr. The one at PLP, the restaurant guy, Jack Weldon. Jack Weldon got more calls in some instances than other people, yet his popularity was, next to nothing. So I don't think you can equate the two.
Well, I don't know, Lionel, but they don't even get crank calls over there.
Ted Webb has been doing very well in the ratings lately.
Who?
Ted Webb is surprising a lot of people here.
Who?
But look at the competition. I mean, if you're going to listen to talk radio...
No.
Yeah, that's right.
What else is there to listen to?
That's right, caller.
You don't understand the ratings, Mr. Caller. And Bob knows what I'm talking about. Ted Webb...
Lionel, I never know what you're talking about.
Ted Webb is going places. We, the radio...
Webb have an offer from the big time?
Don't know as much as we think sometimes. Vis-a-vis your caller here.
Yes, but, I mean...
Dick Norman's coming back, right, Bob?
You got a choice between Nancy Dinella. Did you see the picture of Nancy in the paper?
What does that have to do with anything?
We're talking kennel time
Sir,
here.
what does Nancy Dinellan's appearance or your apparent lack of wit, what does this have to do with the price of tea in China? Nothing.
I thought
She's very good.
The entire show this afternoon was based on a lack of wit. I apologize.
Isn't that funny that throughout this period of intellectual nothingness, you're there adhesed to the radio, listening to every word. That's the funny thing.
Well, of course, there are other
You hate something
people,
so
too.
much, yet you'll listen passionately to it. And you know, Bob, I'll tell you, it's interesting. I think Liz Richards, what is this? Fowler's on now, Norman, and this. Please, don't, you, Mr. Caller, you probably would agree with us, I would hope. Don't you think that we, the listening public, deserve better treatment than this?
Yeah.
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 Huh?
Bring back Paul. Bring back Paul. Thank you, guys.
Liz Richards, terrible. Get her off the air. Not
terrible
because of her views. She's pathetic. She just doesn't have the skills, I think, to be a good talk show host. Sam McClellan, I despise everything the man stands for, how he carries himself. However...
Well, now, one second here. In not necessarily in defense of Liz, but in defense of people who try to do this. I spent over 10 years of my life trying to get into talk radio, and nobody would touch me with a 10-foot pole because they said I didn't have the skills. I got into talk radio quite by accident. I had given up on trying to get into talk.
I can understand what you're saying. I'm talking mainly intellectual skills here. Even with Sam McClellan, I feel like he's not a good example. Forget Sam McClellan. Anyway, with Liz, she used too many, what you call a man-who statistic. And she'll base an entire argument on, well, I had a Colombian maid, and she said the Panamanian people were always like this. Or she comes out of the blue with these goofy things that she cannot back up. And I don't disagree with her so much as just despise the way she sticks to claims without any kind of real thought, it seems like.
Okay.
Anyway, Ted Webb. Did not change the show. I didn't like Ted Webb's show at first, but I think he does a real good job, and I think he's evolved into a real good show. And
well, I remember sitting over at PLP, and this was before I knew it was coming to FLA, concerning Ted Webb. And I got a call. I guess we were doing a show not terribly dissimilar to this. And the person asked me what I thought of Webb, and I said at that time that I thought Teddy had the greatest potential of anybody in the market, myself included, for doing general talk. And everybody said, oh, Lassiter, you're crazy. The guy just doesn't have it. The progress that Ted Webb has made in doing sports is tough and requires a great deal of reading and paying attention and remembering statistics. Doing general talk is even tougher. And I am so damn proud of Webb, the progress that he has made in the 6, 7, 8 months, however long it's been. I guess it's damn near a year now. That he has made is astonishing. And I think I was right, damn it.
Yeah, I agree. I remember even you saying that, and I agreed. He kind of, he took me by surprise for sure. How come nobody's talking about the old Jack Wheeler anyway? When you're talking about I haven't heard him mentioned all day.
Have you seen his show?
No, you're kidding.
Oh, that's right. You're in Hillsborough. He has a show.
No, you're kidding me.
On Paragon and Vision Cable over in Pinellas County from 7:30 till 9
you're
every morning.
You're kidding me. I gotta see it.
Oh, it's man, it would be worth driving over there and renting a motel room.
What does he do? Is it interview?
What does he do? He begs, he pleads, he does 9-minute commercials. Oh, God, the day I turned it in, he was trying to do open phones. And he had only allotted a half hour for the open phones, and it just wasn't working. It just was not working. So, for no rhyme or reason under the sun, he's there. What do you think about the president? What do you think about... give me a call. What do you think about restaurants? What do you think about... give me a call. He's not getting any calls. He's gone through like 15 minutes of this. You can see the sweat starting to build on his forehead.
God.
For no rhyme or reason, he bends down. You know, this is television. He's got apparently a lavalier mic on, I guess it was. but you can hear all of the noise of the mic rubbing up against, the shirt and everything. And on top of that, his pants must have been a tad too tight. I shall do my best in radio to recreate this grand moment of broadcast history. Oh, I've got something down here under the desk. Boom. And sets down it was a wooden board. It looked like a chopping block.
What?
Yes, and then pulls out a handful of what he referred to as sushi on feet. They were little plastic things that looked like sushi that had those little feet under the bottom of them, wind-up toys. So he winds them all up, and he says, you got to see these. My wife picked them up in San Francisco. Excuse me. Oh, my wife picked them up in San Francisco. They're really funny. Watch these. Winds them up, puts them on the board. They all run off the board. The poor guy trying to run the camera, I assume it's a guy. It might have been a woman. The person trying to run the camera is going berserk trying to keep the camera on these things. They're all running off into different directions. Does this for like a minute and a half. Again, no explanation. Picks the thing up, puts it back underneath the desk, of course, with all the grunting and groaning associated and bending over, and goes back to open phones.
You're
Finally,
kidding me.
Oh, it was great, man.
Now, this was some strange dream you had the other night.
No, man. Move to Pinellas County and watch Wheeler in the Morning. It is a fantastic show.
I've been fantasizing for months now of just what this guy's been doing. I see him, on a freight train somewhere. I just can't picture it. He's got a show.
Yes, he has a show.
Unbelievable.
On Channel 9, which is, of course, the Access channel. And it's just fantastic. Oh, he has great controversial guests, things like local stockbrokers who tout their firms and people who own gas stations. And, it's really great.
Thanks very much, Bob.
Watching. Thank you,
Enjoy
Otto.
Bye-bye.
Bob. Do you know? Melissa is leaving today, and they're having a little party downstairs, and decency lady who stopped by was kind enough to bring up a piece of cake, and now I've got crumbs and stuff all over the console and icing in my beard. And how am I supposed to do a talk show under conditions like this?
I think that's very funny because most of your shows have been with this bashing and trashing and things like that.
Yeah, that's what people like, bashing and trashing.
You enjoy bashing and trashing?
Oh, love it.
I know the gentlemen that call in seem to enjoy it very much.
Oh, yes, they do.
And you didn't have the percentage of women that have called you has not been as many as the men callers.
Well, women are more polite.
Women are more... Yes. Is that why you hung up on a grandmother?
Well, I do that for ratings, Kathleen. I do it for ratings. It breaks my heart. It's the same woman. She's on the payroll, and she calls in and screams and shouts rude things to me, and then I scream and shout back at her and call her a subhuman pig and hang up on her. The whole thing's a put on.
Oh, it is a put-on.
Of course not.
Because a lot of the programs I listened to that you had, it made me kind of upset. In fact, I had started turning over to WTKN.
Oh, my God, that's upset.
Yeah, and I happened to turn your show on today and found out about everything that was happening.
Oh, Bob.
Hello, Sly.
You can hear me? I got the Tampa Mafia spreading cement behind me here.
Oh, my
on a road.
Goodness, you're kidding.
Yeah. You really provoked me.
Oh, no, what's the matter, man?
You telling me Sam McClellan is put on?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's a well-known leftist.
He's got pinpoint pupils, I'll bet you.
No, man, he's a well-known leftist. He just desperately wants to be in talk radio.
He came from an Amway rally. You kidding me? That harebrained...
He's a leftist who just desperately wants to be in talk radio, and he thought his best shot would be as a conservative.
That harebrained, dildo breast sparrow fart hasn't had a decent thought in his head since Nixon resigned. Are you kidding me? No, I can't buy it.
It's all put on, man. It's all put on.
Put on. No, what's this? Love your enemies week?
No.
I liked what you said there earlier on. You gotta know them. Like a Tim Cole's clone or something like that. Yeah.
No, Cole's is for real. Sam isn't.
Cole's is for real. It's sad that there's people like that are still able to walk around. But also Fowler, I'm glad he's off the air, and I hope that I had something to do with it. I provoked him, asking about panic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
He's a has-been, would-be artist, and artists have to suffer, and artists have to be very honest. And he's best he could do is feed pablum to old ladies. I mean, really, he was good. He was fairly good. I really appreciated some of the bits that he did.
Yeah.
But no, No, he's just an arrogant has-been. Yeah.
Really?
He's gone.
Well, why do you say that?
He's gone. He's a has-been. He never make it, never would, never will. And I hope you work on your lisp.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try.
I did a lot for Baba Waba.
That's true, Sly.
All you need is a rich Jew to back you up there.
Well, Sly, there is one thing, though, that you should keep in mind.
What?
I got the job. Excuse me for Sam. 461-9352 in Pinellas. Dan in Tampa. Dan, you're on the air, WFLA.
Yeah, how's it going?
Great, Dan.
I'm not a long-time listener, and it's the first time I have called you. I just wanted to call and tell you you're doing a hell of a job.
First-time listener, long-time caller, right?
No, definitely not long time.
Okay.
I just bought a car with AM radio only.
Yeah.
And it's kind of stuck on this station.
Well, fantastic.
And so I started listening to it, and I tell you what, you got a hell of a lot to say.
Tune it in and rip the knob off.
I like what you got to say. As far as what the last caller had to say, I think he's a derelict. That's probably why he don't like Fowler. Fowler is sarcastic, but I hate to see him go, even though I've just started listening.
Should hasten to point out he did have the time to sit home and call today. I wonder why.
Excuse me?
We should point out that he did have the time to sit home and call today. The last caller.
Yeah, I took the time. As a matter of fact, I've never been on hold that long in my life to talk to you. But like I say, it's the first time I've ever called any kind of even to request or whatever it may be.
A better night guy.
Yeah, I like you better at night.
Nah, we don't work nights anymore.
That's right, or Saturday.
No, we're afraid of the boogeyman. That's why we won't work nights anymore.
This changes something you want, and I can understand going from 4 hours to 3. No one should have to do 4, but why the 3 to 6? What's appealing about that?
What's appealing to me about that, personally? The later in the day, the better I work. It takes me an ungodly amount of time to get my brain working in the morning. And just the later in the day, the better it is for me.
But you don't want evening?
No.
Okay. Something I wanted to say about Fowler, and I know all of what we're saying means nothing because I've been listening all day, and of course there has been an opinion, pro and con, and everything in between about everybody. I can understand that maybe he just can't do it anymore. What bothers me is that there was not a statement to the audience or a goodbye. I felt like I was just getting to know the guy. I didn't listen to him on the other station. And
I have no reason to suspect that on his last program, which was a Friday, that he had made anywhere near a decision to that effect.
Oh, really?
I have no reason. I talked to him Sunday, and he told me what he was going to do on Monday. And somewhere between Sunday afternoon and Monday morning, he obviously made a decision.
Then I feel like it diminishes the respect I had for him somewhat. I mean, I know there are all kinds of circumstances I don't understand, but to just not come in, it seems like he could have even come in for 10 minutes to say what he was doing, to just show up and give us something, and that has bothered me. And Sam is I really don't want to see Dick back, but he's so much better as a representative of the right than Sam. Sam's an embarrassment. He's not even worthy of being on the radio. And at least Dick is intelligent and well read. And you may.
Well, I don't know. I think Sam is a great entertainer.
I disagree. Well, I guess for some, but not for me. I just find him embarrassing to be on there. And
come on, Sandy. I mean, all I got to do is listen to the guy for 10 minutes, and I've got material for his show. I mean, I want Sam. I want Sam.
Well, maybe for 10 minutes.
I want Sam.
For 10 minutes, all right. And with Liz, I'm scared to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. All the bashing that she's received, I kept having the feeling that, listening to her this week, some of what she says is not that different from what you say. It's just that you have other topics, too. She seems to have one. But she is bright, and there is something to what she says. And I
There's quite a bit to what she says.
And you would agree with a lot of it. But
what people don't quite seem to understand insofar as Liz or anybody else who does this on a part-time basis and does it on an emergency basis is that I have 24 hours a day to devote to my program. Whether or not I do is besides the point. I have it available to me. I don't earn a living doing something else. This is what I do for a living. Well, a Sam or a Liz Richards or anyone else that works on a part-time basis has another job. has another life, and they don't have the time to devote to it.
Well, I think she got better as the week went on. I give her a lot of credit, especially this morning. Did you hear that? No phones and
Yes, I did, as I was frantically going through my library looking for a book to read on the air.
I really felt sorry for the woman, and I think that's tough to do. Maybe people thought that
tough. That's enough to make a grown man cry.
Yeah, horrible. And that call to her mother was sort of corny, but in a way I found it interesting. And I mean, she had to do something, and I think she handled it real well. And I thought it was especially interesting when the management came on, and Sue and what's his name may have been his phone.
What's his name, Dave? What's his name?
Dave.
You ought to see how it's spelled. Then you'd say, Dave, what's his name?
They were great. They, as I say, I don't care if what they say is true.
A lot of J's and Z's and K's in it.
What is that, Polish or Greek or?
I think it's a joke.
I
think this is a conspiracy on the part of J-Corps. They have made this man's last name impossible to read just to goof on us. It's probably Jones.
Oh, well, I've got my 2 cents in. And, wait. The most important thing happened today. Again, you blew my diet. There I was at I'm on the road all day.
Sure, blame it on me, Sandy.
Exactly. Yeah. Stopped for a Diet Pepsi, wheeled around, ready to flip it open, and what did I spot but Tasty Cakes, those things that you've been talking about. I thought, okay, I'm going to try it. Bob loved it. It was the worst tasting piece of garbage. I'm embarrassed.
Well, wait a second. What kind did you get?
I looked them all over, trying to remember the kind you said were the very best.
Chocolate Tasty Cakes.
Well, this had chocolate, just a veneer of chocolate icing on the top that was nasty tasty.
And it was a yellow cake?
White cake.
White cake.
White
cake.
Well, maybe it was yellow with cream filling. The cream filling was okay.
Oh, yuck. That does sound awful.
Wait. If I gather the courage to do this again, what should I get? Chocolate
Tasty Cakes or the lemon pie or apple pie.
I didn't see any pies. Well, this was a Circle K out in the boot. I'm in...
Chocolate Tasty Cakes, cold milk.
All right. I'll give it one more chance. And I've got to figure out a taping system for you so I can listen next week.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you. Goodbye.
I'm sorry. And then another thing, I don't know. Actually, I should probably get on your case here. I'm tired of hearing about Tasty Cakes, for one thing.
Well, it's because you don't know how good they are.
I wouldn't.
You knew how good they were. You wouldn't talk about anything else either.
There's a lot of things in this life that are good, but who wants to sit around talking about them,
Well, there's good and then there's good. If you were really into Tasty Cakes, if you truly knew about Tasty Cakes, you wouldn't be able to talk about anything else either.
And then you got... wrestling, I mean, what are you trying to... I can realize why your ratings are so good. You're appealing to all the latent homosexuals out there and all the gearheads.
Wait, latent homosexuals watch wrestling?
Anybody that would get into watching that buffoonery wrestling, you gotta... The only appeal there is to...
Oh, what's a macho guy like you watch?
Out there are going to get mad.
Well, what's a macho guy like you watch, Obi?
I don't watch...
What do you watch, the Brady Bunch?
No, I like Andy Griffith.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Reruns Andy Griffith are always fun to watch.
Yeah, just because you can't figure out the rules to wrestling, I appreciate that it's complicated to watch. But just because you can't figure out the ruals to it, there's no reason to knock other people who...
And I'm sure you don't even like wrestling.
Call them latent homosexuals.
Trying to appeal to a wider audience, trying to get all these hicks and dummies down here that normally wouldn't listen to talk radio.
Well, hey, look, if you want big ratings in this market, you got to appeal to the hicks and the dummies.
And as far
if you don't believe that, listen to Q10 Jive.
Yeah, it sure does work there, and that's what you're doing. You're getting
I'm trying,
you're cutting into their market. That's
yes, I am. That's right.
Pretty sharp.
By talking about professional wrestling.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to run them out of town.
So you're agreeing with me. I did strike a chord there. I'm right on that.
Oh, yeah.
And another thing, as far as you're talking about Norman, you're kind of bashing him because of his voice. And this guy, a couple of calls or right before me, he had a pretty... I used to listen to Fowler, and I'd never listened to Norman. And I thought, God, yeah, who would listen? That guy's voice is terrible. But it's like he said, you kind of acquire it. And Fowler, after a while, you get, he's probably a nice guy, but the poor guy is really screwed up. Jeez, I don't know. I hope he's not listening. I don't mean anything personally against him.
Screwed up? How do you mean that?
Well, he is. He's always saying that. He's saying, like, one Saturday morning, he's going, Oh, boy, you should have been listening last Saturday. It was really snappy. Everything was really... And he said the same thing. I remembered it verbatim the previous Saturday, and here he's always pulling the same shtick. Yeah. And it's like he's so in love with his own voice, he's repeating things. He's kind of like... I like Lionel, but Lionel does that, too. He uses about 8 words for, one where it could have taken 2 words, but... Fowler, he doesn't even do that. He just uses the same 8 words and goes over and over again, And he has the same thing about, oh boy, all these callers are terrible, and if you had something to say, he goes, that's boring. And like, I actually tell you, the thing that really kind of got me, I like talk radio, and I was listening one Saturday morning, and it was even out of character for him. Some old guy called up and was talking about, what do you call these inspection stations? And Fowler went and said, you mean to tell me you're an old man, you haven't got much time left in this short life that there is anyway, and that's all you can come up with? And, and here he's always saying open lines. This poor old guy calls, and I mean, to me, I thought that was a kind of a despicable thing to do. And I never listened to him again after that. A lot of times I kind of keep going back to talk radio, pushing and I want to hear it, but I never even touched it then. Mm-hmm. And as far as Sam Magoo goes, he is the pits. I think everybody else has said that too. And what you're saying is probably true. I almost think you're right. Then again, I know you're not. That he's pulling everybody's legs. It's the only way the guy, he is stupid, like with the Indians bit. He's saying, oh, we brought him out of the Stone Age. I mean, this guy is, either he's retarded or he is pretty sharp, and he's doing it to stir up controversy.
Yeah, he's a total put on.
I kind of think you might be right.
Mm-hmm. He's really he's almost an extreme left-wing radical.
Oh, boy, yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess you are putting everybody on by saying that. And as far as Liz Richards or Bitchards or whatever, she had some guy on, and I don't know if she doesn't know how to work the dials or something, but she had a guy, Peppy, on here a few mornings. Hey, here's a pretty interesting call. All of a sudden, Peppy's gone. She never said boo to him. What happened? I don't know if she just cuts guys off because she doesn't know how to work the dials. And the next call she had was, an empty dial tone. And she goes, oh, boy, I'm sorry I cut Peppy off now. I mean, if you get a good caller, I think you should have the instincts to... I mean, I could see being rude, but at least if you get a good caller, you ought to leave the guy talk for a few seconds.
And if you don't have a good caller?
Do what you're going to do to me.
This weekend, something real...
WFLA.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, great, Jim.
I'd like to talk about Cheryl Brown.
Cheryl Brown, okay.
Yeah, I'd like to make love to her breasts one at a time, but I can't because she doesn't have any.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day, Tasty Cakes?
Yeah.
We were over here yesterday, and we were very high on marijuana, and we went out and bought a plethora of Tasty Cakes.
Mm-hmm.
And they really suck, Bob. They're terrible. I have to tell you, you had an opinion of 10.
Ed Hardley. Is this you, Ed Hardley?
Ed Hartley.
Yeah, Ed Hardley.
No, this is Elvis.
All right. Obviously a jerk. I apologize for that.
Today that was kind of important because I think if I bought your radio station, I'd make a few changes. You want to hear them?
Sure.
Okay. First of all, we'd start the day a little earlier than 9 o'clock with talk. We'd start from 8 o'clock until 10 a.m. with Richard Shanks, and the purpose there being so that the commuters can nap on their way to work.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's real important. And then from 10 to noon, let's get Tim Coles for Social Security counseling. And,
oh, dear.
And the daily, the commies are coming update.
Oh, dear.
Okay? And then let's keep you from noon to 4 so that you can translate what just happened from 8 until noon.
Well, you give me much, much more credit than I deserve.
Oh, well, I think you can handle it, Bob. Let's see, after that, then it gets a little sticky, but I really think that Liz Richards ought to be on daily from 4 to 6 because then she'll catch all the female commuters on their way home and explain to them how unfair their male-dominated workforce is to them. And she might also want to talk about, wrestling and things like that. Let's see, now we're up to 6 o'clock. Okay, how about Ted Webb and Gail Searns together from 6 until 8 for sports wrap-up and marriage counseling? Does that sound okay?
Half and half. I can go with a marriage counseling, but he clearly knows nothing about sports.
Well, maybe Gail can teach him something about sports.
Maybe Liz could teach him something about sports.
Could be. Now, but I think there's one more thing that you have to do.
She's quite a sport.
Pardon me?
She's quite a sport.
She's got to be after today. After 8 o'clock, you really need an after 8 show.
An after 8 show, yeah.
With either Dick Norman or Dave Fowler, depending on who chooses to show up.
Excuse me, I just choked on my coffee there.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. You should hold up your hand, though, before you're going to say something like that in the future.
Okay. Well, I just finished a tasty cake, too, so, having trouble with the old belt buckle
What the hell is this? Why are people dumping on tasty cakes today? I don't quite understand this. What's the matter with you people?
After the full moon, I think we have to stock up and get ready for the next crazy round.
Damn Twinkies, people?
I don't understand it either. Hey, could you get rid of those traffic updates and let Gary McHenry get a real job?
But it is a real job.
I know, but the poor guy, it's dangerous, and he only gets to talk a little bit every so often.
That's all he's able to do. Gary, if you knew him in real life, only talks in 45-second bursts once every 10 minutes.
Is that right? You mean
it's true.
Socially as well?
Socially, unsocially, any way you want to look at it.
Oh, dear. Well, listen, Bob, I hope that you wrote these things down. I hope that your new management was listening, because I think that this would really help to turn WFLA into something. Not quite sure what, but something.
Well, it would certainly be the talk of Tampa Bay.
I think so.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thanks, Bob. Bye-bye.
7:52 the time. Frank in Lakeland High, 7:52. Where the hell did I get that from? It's 3:52. Frank in Lakeland. Hi, Frank. You're on the air at WFLA.
It's 3:52, Bob.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why it's at 7:52.
Well, it's those damn tasty cakes. You got them on your mind.
I tell you, you can make fun of my dog. You can make fun of me, but you guys are really pushing today on the tasty cakes.
Turn that radio down. Yeah, I heard a commercial about them. I told you I didn't like it. I never tried them before. I heard a commercial. I turned the radio on this morning on some channel, and they advertised tasty cakes. And I said, "Damn, I'm gonna have to get me some of those." And that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna get some tasty cakes somewhere. I don't know where yet, but I'm gonna find some.
Well, it would
check it out.
It would do you well to pursue them.
But anyway, the reason I called was the reason I listen to talk radio and especially WFLA is that people, Norman, yourself, and Ted Webb, when you come on the radio, when you have a topic, you know your facts.
Dick, the human Dick Norman. Where did they get this guy?
Where did they get Norman?
They're bringing him back now, which I don't understand that at all.
Well, it's my understanding he has a portfolio of photographs with with one of the upper management people and a goat.
Aha, that explains it.
Yes, that's the real truth behind that story.
It would take something like that, because that guy is a no-talent loudmouth.
Well, unfortunately, this upper management person isn't really too swift, because what the pictures are is the upper management person is holding the goat. And Norman is also in the photograph, and I don't really want to get into any more detail beyond that.
I see. He's down at the south end of Goatville, huh?
I'm not going to get involved in it.
Okay, well, when Dick Norman and Jack Ellery were this station's 1-2 punch, I never listened to them. When they got you on, I tuned in for your show, but I would avoid Dick Norman, because I drive around all day, and I can't afford to get in a sour mood and then have to call on somebody. So, I have to like the person I'm with.
What's the matter? You don't like talk about, whether or not Brandon should incorporate? You can't handle controversy like this?
Steaming controversy like that, or what's another one for him? The death penalty for parking tickets. I wish somebody would give him the death penalty for being a jerk. Come on. That guy was an idiot. And now they're bringing him back. That, to me, do they have consultants that make these decisions seriously?
Consultants? No, we don't have consultants.
So that's just somebody decided, hey, Dick's a really talented fella?